Chosen one, this moment is not a coincidence. Your soul was drawn to this video because the heavens whispered the same message to you 7 times. The number 1111 didn't appear before your eyes for nothing, and the prayers of 33 prophets did not fall upon you by chance. You are one of the 144,000 chosen, and your presence here is a divine sign. This message was sent to awaken the secret that has been resting within your heart. What you are about to hear are not just words, but divine vibrations that will sink deep into your soul. If these words are touching you, leave your heart in the comments so the heavens can witness your testimony. Because when you write, another soul will awaken. Now prepare yourself, for this video will illuminate your path. Those who recognize the signs of God know that nothing is random. That's why your being here is already a miracle. We are building a family of light, the first 1,000 souls. Be part of it, subscribe to Chosen Archangel, press like, and leave your word in the comments. Yes, remove everything. This is a heavenly cleaning and spiritual reset to get you ready for the big change that's about to happen. Why? Because you can't move forward while carrying past baggage with you, and the universe is moving quickly. The breakthroughs, blessings, and miracles that you have been hoping for are about to come true. However, you must make room for them. You must completely embrace this change. Take a moment to perform these 3 things before continuing. Press the like button now. Join this unstoppable tribe by subscribing. As we strive for 90,000 members, leave the number 99 in the comments to send a strong message to the universe that will boost your energy and hasten your manifestation. Now is your moment, chosen one. Don't turn away if you sense that fire inside of you. Avoid resistance. This message will change your life forever, so watch it through to the end. You might not finish if you're not prepared to accept this. But be ready to see miracles if you do. This isn't a recommendation. It's neither a soft prod nor a spiritual whisper. This is a loud and urgent divine command directly from the heavenly throne. God is telling you to get rid of everything, every post, every photo, every trace, because this is urgent, non-negotiable, and profoundly spiritual. You can't put it off or add it to your to-do list. The cost of disobedience is too high at the present, and God's chosen ones are being targeted by dark spirits, not by humans who use your own stuff against you. Every picture you upload and every moment you share becomes a point of entry. Delays in obeying are still considered disobedience. You can no longer afford to be spiritually careless because the digital world has turned into a battlefield, and your social media is a front line. What emerges is not always joy or support, but envy, curses, and negative energy masquerading as likes and congratulations. God is raising the alarm. God is not asking, but giving orders. You've been wondering why your peace has been disturbed, why anxiety keeps showing up without invitation, why moments that should bring you joy leave you feeling exhausted. The answer lies in your digital presence. The season you're entering calls for full armor, not open windows. Shut the windows. Clean the slate. It doesn't matter if those photos hold memories, if they are opening doors to attack, they must go. For many of God's chosen people, social media has turned into a silent killer, slowly eroding their spiritual strength one post at a time. You may not see the attacks, but you feel them. Every time you celebrate, you pay a price. Spiritual backlash presents itself subtly, causing restlessness that sleep cannot resolve, tension in your chest, and racing thoughts. You're not just sharing updates. God is revealing the truth now because He wants to restore you, but that restoration begins with removal. You must clean your digital presence. This isn't based on fear, it's based on faith. You are called. You are chosen. You're leaving yourself empty, confused, and vulnerable because you're casting your pearls in front of people who don't value them. In the spirit realm, a photo is much more than just a photo, it's a portal, a spiritual doorway that can either attract darkness or invite light. Every post you make is an open gate. You are sacred, and your spirit cannot flourish under the weight of exposure. Clean your social media accounts and allow your soul to breathe again. The enemy doesn't always attack through obvious means, and at the moment, many of those gates are being used by forces that do not wish you well. This is why you've been feeling strange, why your dreams have been strange, and why your emotions are unpredictable. You may think it's stress, but it's actually spiritual contamination. Sometimes, he enters through the subtle, through jealously laced admiration, through hearts clapping for you in public but cursing you in private. God is telling you to shut the gates, close all the portals, go back through your timeline, and remove the entries that allow the enemy access. This is about living in wisdom, not fear. Shut the doors before it's too late. Not everyone who follows you is a fan, some are just keeping an eye on you, not offering support. They scroll through your life to analyze your blessings rather than to celebrate your progress. As a chosen one, your light naturally attracts attention. However, not all attention is benign, in fact, some of it can be harmful. They refuse to share your post or leave a comment, but they are casting nets spiritually, with envious eyes staring at you and manipulation occurring wherever envy exists. Some are even using your photos as spiritual targets. If you really think you're set apart, start acting like it. Stop offering your life to spectators who wish you harm. God sees what you can't. He hears the whispers behind your back. That's why he's pressing this message so urgently. Your joy irritates the demons they've allowed into their lives, and those spirits respond. Remove your life from the spotlight. You may believe that your family photo or selfie is a harmless way to share happiness, but you are blind to what is going on behind the scenes. Every picture becomes a spiritual signature, and when you are selected, that signature attracts both divine and demonic attention. Your photos are currently being used against you. When they see your smile, some people's hearts darken without them having to say anything. Their emotions are energy, and energy travels, clinging to your digital image and then following you into your home, mind, and dreams. These are invisible attacks, witchcraft wrapped in emojis, or spiritual arrows masquerading as compliments. God is revealing this now so you can take control. If you've been feeling strange lately for no apparent reason, tension, anxiety, or confusion, it's likely that your spirit is reacting to digital warfare. Protect your image by deleting your images. Withdraw and guard what matters. This is spiritual reality, not superstition. You are not like other people, you are chosen, you are marked, and that entails a greater degree of spiritual responsibility and sensitivity. This is the reason why you experience different reactions to things, why you can't do what others do and get away with it, and why posting something minor can make you feel exhausted, attacked, or uneasy. Ordinary people can post details of their lives online with little repercussion, but when you are walking in purpose, the enemy increases his efforts to divert, deplete, or destroy you. Your calling makes you a magnet for both light and darkness, and your social media is more than just a page, it's a beacon. It's time to stop trying to keep up with the world. This is a season of consecration, not celebration. Pull back. Protect your energies. You cannot live carelessly when you carry something so sacred. Chosen ones aren't supposed to blend in. You were never meant to reveal every blessing to the world. Protect your calling. You are experiencing spiritual exhaustion, not just mental burnout or physical fatigue. The root of this is digital. Every time you post, you are unwittingly giving away power, and every update you share feeds the spirits that seek to weaken you. God is no longer whispering, instead, He is yelling, "Cut it off." Social media is the largest unseen app that is draining your focus, joy, clarity, and even your prayer life. You've been feeling empty because the spiritual power you need is being siphoned out of you online. Think of it like a phone battery that is constantly running low due to too many apps running in the background. Your spirit is that phone. God is not merely trying to protect you, He is preparing you, and before He pours fresh oil, He needs you to seal the leaks. Start with your digital life. Shut off the drain. Heaven has been speaking, but the din of the crowd is drowning it out. If you want to be filled again, you must disconnect. A breakthrough is waiting, but it requires full capacity, not half-charged energy. You've been praying for clarity, but your spiritual frequency has been blocked. Social media is a distortion, not just a diversion. It's difficult to hear God clearly when you're tuned into other people's lives, thoughts, and energies. However, the good news is that once you clear your mind, turn off the noise, and withdraw into solitude, God's voice will become clear and loud. Don't undervalue what awaits you on the other side of obedience. God is prepared to download visions, strategies, and even warnings, but He is waiting for your separation. Divine instructions, revelations, and a senseless peace will all clear the fog that has been over your mind and make the next steps clear. God is ready to open doors, elevate you, and take you to new dimensions, but your social media is causing spiritual blockages. When you clean your digital space, you'll clear the airwaves between heaven and your heart, and the divine conversation you've been craving will finally begin. A portion of the opposition you encounter isn't the devil, rather, it's your own unwillingness to let go. You've asked God to move you, but you're clinging to things that go against the move. Every picture and memory you leave online is tying you down to a past season, and past seasons can't follow you into new ones. This is the test before the elevation. The digital purge is not punishment, but preparation. Will you cling to public validation or submit to divine transformation? Breakthrough is within reach, but only for those who are willing to let go, clean up, and move forward in purity. There is grace for obedience, but rebellion has consequences, and in this season, delayed obedience will result in delayed destiny. Not every like is a blessing, not every follower is a fan, and some of the people who interact with your posts are actually working against you in secret, using your content to curse your progress. You may see a heart emoji, a fire reaction, or a sweet comment, but in the spirit realm, some of those are arrows wrapped in disguise. Witchcraft is more than just candles and chanting, it's also about intention, envy, and jealousy combined with focus. If someone is intently focusing on your life and you've made it easy for them by broadcasting everything, you've unwittingly given them the ammunition. They're blocking your favor with their energy and cursing your joy with their thoughts. It's time to take back control. Our goal is clear: 1,000 voices united. Every subscriber, every like, every comment gets us closer. Stand with chosen Archangel today. Don't give in to those who are only interested in seeing you fail. Don't share your successes with those who are secretly hoping you fail. Privacy is your weapon now. Spiritual and digital warfare are real. Protect your progress by remaining invisible. And the online version of you is frequently filtered, not just by apps but also by pressure. The real you, the called, chosen, growing, imperfect you is enough, and when you step out of the digital spotlight, the right people will find you. On the inside, you're yearning for authentic connection, but you share the best moments, the polished smiles, and the carefully manicured victories. God wants to connect you with destiny helpers, spiritual allies, and covenant relationships. But those connections aren't made through filters and captions, they happen in private, in prayer, and in quiet places. You won't need to use a highlight reel to prove your value, you'll draw people in based on spirit rather than image. When you clear your social media accounts, you create room for genuine alignment. The right people don't need to see your posts, and they will sense your presence the moment you start deleting, not just archiving, but completely releasing. The atmosphere changes, and the burden you've been carrying starts to go away. The mental fog, the inexplicable weight, and the spiritual exhaustion start to fade. Social media has conditioned us to believe that our value is tied to visibility, which is why you're no longer carrying thousands of invisible eyes on your back. You don't realize how much pressure you've been under until you disconnect. Constant performance, subtle comparison, and emotional exhaustion from watching others and being watched in return are all examples of this. Your spiritual clarity will increase as your digital footprint gets smaller. You'll sleep deeper, pray more deliberately, and think more clearly. You'll feel emotionally stable in ways you haven't in months or years. However, true freedom starts in hiding. That's where God meets you most deeply. You'll wonder why you didn't delete it sooner. You've posted pictures to share your happiness, your children, your relationship, your blessings, and your progress, but each one turns into spiritual currency that speaks in the realm of energy. Less noise, more peace, less exposure, more presence. Your home, your love, your calling, and everything that is supposed to be sacred are all targeted by jealous spirits. And each time you upload a new moment, you grant spirits and people access that they don't deserve. Keep in mind that not everyone receives your joy with clean hands or a pure heart. Every picture erased is a door closed, every memory erased is an arrow deflected, and spiritual warfare doesn't always look like battles. If their intention is dark and your gate is open, then that agreement becomes legal in the spirit realm. God is asking you to reclaim your territory. This is your final warning. You are on the brink of a huge spiritual, mental, and even physical transformation. Doors are opening, favor is forming, but if you carry the weight of public exposure into this next phase, it will crush the momentum before it even starts. Sometimes it looks like wisdom, and wisdom says, wipe it clean. This is not fear-mongering, rather, it is prophetic urgency. There is too much at stake, and in the days ahead, you will see why this purge was necessary. Heaven is giving you a chance to start over before the shift begins. If you don't, you risk delay and exposing yourself to a backlash so severe that it shakes your mind, body, and household. This is the last call. Don't delay again. There comes a time when God no longer invites. There are storms you don't have to go through if you obey today. There are attacks you won't even see if you act now. The clarity will come after the cleansing. You've reached that stage, dear. This isn't about improving later, rather, it's about obeying right away because your disobedience is costing you money every day. You've prayed for deliverance, but you disregarded the straightforward instruction, disconnect or keep getting drained. God's protection is most effective when combined with your obedience. This is a command for your safety, your sanity, and your destiny. Your breakthrough is already written. Your purpose is already planned. Your access to it depends on how you respond. You cannot carry divine oil in a leaking vessel. You cannot step into elevation while leaving yourself vulnerable to spiritual bullets online. Disconnect now. Delete everything and trust that what God is dragging you away from is nothing in comparison to what He is about to reveal. The internet doesn't need access to what heaven is still working on. Keep your word. Disconnect or be exhausted. The next season of your life will require laser focus and zero distractions. The fog you've been fighting, the indecision, the confusion, it's not just in your head, it's spiritual interference, and social media has been amplifying it. But the instant you disconnect, God's voice comes through, clear, strong, and unmistakable. Clarity is one of the first gifts that flows when you finally shut the noise. It's like trying to hear a whisper while standing in a thunderstorm. God has been speaking, but your soul is too filled with noise to hear it. Your scrolling habits, the content you're consuming, and the comparison that goes on in the back of your mind all cause interference. Many people are unaware that they're operating with spiritual static. God's direction becomes clear, decisions that felt heavy suddenly feel easy, and His presence feels closer than it has in a long time. But once you step away, something divine happens. It doesn't take long, all it takes is one day of obedience to notice your spirit recalibrating. It's not a coincidence, it's confirmation. The quiet places where God speaks loudest are where spiritual clarity can be found, not scrolling. Peace is more than just a feeling, it's the moment you detach yourself from the world's cacophony and reconnect with the voice of heaven. Your position has been under attack right now, and a lot of it is due to what your spirit is absorbing online. You were never made to carry the noise of the world, and that constant low-level stress, that tension in your body, and those sudden waves of emotion are not just mental, they're spiritual. You've tried meditation and rest, but your spirit hasn't had a chance to breathe for weeks. True peace comes from a complete disconnection, not from temporarily unplugging, it comes from erasing the images, turning off the voices, and entering a state of digital solitude. However, every scroll, click, and post opens a new tab in your soul, and it's overwhelming you. God doesn't just want you busy with purpose, He wants you anchored in peace because peace is the foundation for power. You'll find yourself breathing deeper, laughing more naturally, and thinking without pressure. This is the river of peace flowing again, unblocked, undiluted, undisturbed. Once your peace returns, you'll begin to walk with a spiritual confidence you didn't know you had. You begin to hear your own soul again when the storm subsides. Not all of the battles you have faced recently were sent by the enemy directly, some were invited without your knowledge. Every public post, every vulnerable caption, and every picture of something sacred turned into an open portal, and in the spirit, open portals invite either enemies or angels. The reason you've been feeling hit from all sides is because, regrettably, many of the ones left online have been points of attack. Physical exhaustion, sporadic illness, unexpected conflict, and unsettling dreams are not random, rather, they are signs of spiritual warfare, and social media has been a wide-open gate. The attacks that came through those portals will stop, the interference will stop, you will notice that strange heaviness lifting, arguments calming down, and your mind finally finding rest. This is not imagination, but the realignment that occurs when you cut off access to dark spirits. God is calling you to shut it immediately. You are not being punished. There is a sort of protection that follows the obedient. Every deleted post, every cleansed profile, every silent moment is a spiritual act of war. You are closing doors the enemy believed he had the right to. However, after this obedience, the only spirit permitted to freely move in your life will be the Spirit of God. Heaven mobilizes around you when you take God seriously, when you remove what He commands you to delete, when you step into the shadows rather than the spotlight, and it's not just the general grace we all walk in, it's precise, targeted, force field level protection. Spiritual obedience clears the air, so the angels assigned to you begin working without interference. This type of protection not only protects your body but also your mind, relationships, and purpose. What used to slip through cracks now gets intercepted, and what used to trigger you now passes right by. This is the season of preservation. God has always wanted to protect you, but you have too many open windows, and a house with too many open windows cannot be fully defended. Now, as you clean your digital footprint, it's like locking every door and caulking every crack, and all of a sudden, what used to reach you can no longer do so. The noise is muted, the darts are blocked. The word spreads through you. Share this video, subscribe to Chosen Archangel, and let us rise together until we hit 1,000. Additionally, because obedience creates barriers that the enemy cannot overcome, you will feel safer, more focused, and more covered. When you obey quickly, something changes inside of you. God is going to fight for you because you have finally eliminated the distractions. The spirit realm respects a version of you because of your level of surrender, not because of your number of followers, but because you walk taller, speak more firmly, and pray with greater weight. This is not pride, rather, it is the awakening of spiritual authority, and the key to this level of authority is obedience, especially costly obedience. Your prayers will not only sound powerful, but they will become powerful, and your words will not only inspire, but they will shake atmospheres. Demons will retreat when they see that level of surrender because they see a vessel that cannot be touched. That is the authority you walk in when you delete what God commands you to delete. When a chosen one takes spiritual boundaries seriously, you stop blending in and become a force. This new authority will not require performance or online proof. It will emanate from your spirit and people will sense it when you enter a room. When you speak, something will change because heaven will be supporting you. Demons will leave before you speak a word. It all starts with a simple act of obedience, letting go of what was exposing you. God whispers in private, not loudly, and He is currently waiting for you to separate from the commotion so He can give you the next directive, the next task, or the next prophetic insight that is only for you. When you clear your distractions, you become a candidate for divine conversation, and God starts to trust you with plans, strategies, and sacred insight for what's next. You've been asking for guidance, and He's been waiting for silence. Heaven's secrets are not revealed in public, rather, they are entrusted to the hidden ones, the obedient ones, and the ones who value revelation more than recognition. That's divine revelation, your invitation into the inner court where the veil is thin and where God speaks secrets that move nations. Some of the wisdom you need won't come from books, podcasts, or sermons, rather, it will come straight from God's mouth to your spirit. You'll be reading scripture and suddenly see things you've never seen before, sitting in silence and receiving ideas that feel downloaded from another world. When God wants to speak to you deeply, He frequently uses dreams, but if your spirit is cluttered, full of distraction, digital noise, and emotional residue from social media, your dreams become distorted. Therefore, you must silence the feed, shut off the noise, and lean in. The more space you create for Him, the more secrets He will reveal to you, and once you hear them, your life will never be the same. It's not that God has stopped speaking, rather, it's that your dream realm has been clouded. The moment you clear your digital atmosphere and delete your social media accounts, your sleep becomes sacred again, and you're not going to bed spiritually exposed. The demonic interruptions start to fade, and clarity, color, and direction take their place. This is why they have been feeling confused, fragmented, or even dark lately. Your mind processes what your soul digests, and if your feed is full of comparison, chaos, and subtle spiritual warfare, that's what seeps into your dreams. You'll start to wake up with divine insight, not just dreams, but messages, instructions, warnings, and prophetic visions. This is spiritual science, not superstition. It is not about fear, but about focus. The dream realm is where many chosen ones receive their next level of instruction, but only those who guard their gates can enter. If your spirit is clean and covered, however, your dreams become heaven's notepad, and you will begin to notice divine patterns, timely confirmations, and even prophetic assignments. You've sensed a holding pattern throughout your life, opportunities that felt almost, prayers that seemed unanswered, and doors that didn't open even when you knocked in faith. Your dreams will no longer be random once your eyes and ears are cleansed. Instead, they will become strategic, accurate, and unquestionably divine. Your social media may have been feeding forces that block your momentum, which is why you felt stuck. What you believed to be God's delay may have been your exposure working against you. Too many open portals, too many watches with bad intentions. Every time you post too soon, you give the enemy intelligence, and when the enemy knows what's coming, he sabotages it. You couldn't understand the delay because of this, but as soon as you obey and stop talking, the barriers start to fall away. You'll feel like things are moving more quickly. Things that took months will now take days, and the invisible hands that have been holding you back will no longer be able to do so because you've taken away their access. The delay was never denial but spiritual interference. God has been waiting for your obedience so He can release the acceleration you've been praying for. This is the quickening, the divine fast forward, but it requires complete surrender. Not just turning off your computer for a few days, but deleting, unplugging, and trusting God's pace over public attention. However, now that you've unlocked acceleration, you'll be surprised by the doors that begin to open when you clean up your digital life. These are doors that were previously closed off to you, rooms that you were previously denied access to because your exposure had been tainting your authority. You were visible, but you were spiritually vulnerable. You had to purge first because the next season of favor that comes into your life requires spiritual fortification. And heaven was waiting for you to get protected before promotion. God doesn't just open doors, He protects what's behind them. If you're not spiritually sealed, you can't sustain what He gives you. Additionally, God will never send you into a territory you aren't prepared to protect. After you delete those outdated postings and clean up your digital imprint, you'll notice that opportunities come up without you pursuing them, resources flow where there wasn't any, and heavenly connections start to emerge. Your obedience is the key, and now that the portals are closed, the divine ones will open. Take a step back and see how quickly heaven reacts to the heart that says, "Yes, Lord." God will open what was once closed. You don't need to manufacture it or manipulate it. This is a supernatural strategy. The strongest version of you doesn't crave applause. It walks in quiet confidence. When you break free from the social media validation loop, you'll immediately realize that you no longer need to post for affirmation because your identity is anchored in God, not likes, views, or comments. Real spiritual strength is found in the hidden places, where you can savor your victories in silence, celebrate without publishing, and grow without making an announcement. You'll experience the serenity that comes from feeling important without having to perform your blessings. You are being invited into that same flow, a life of authority that doesn't need an audience, a life of impact that doesn't need a post. When you walk in this kind of spiritual power, validation becomes irrelevant. You don't chase platforms. Jesus frequently withdrew from the crowd before performing a powerful act. He didn't advertise every miracle. Instead, he moved in silence and let his Father validate him in private. God wants to give you that strength, but it starts with a deleted post and an obedient heart. Have you ever prayed and felt like your words just disappeared into thin air? You become one. You don't need exposure. You carry glory. Every step you take becomes a threat to darkness. Chosen one, remember this: heaven never sends a word without purpose. If this message has stirred your spirit, let it shine brighter. Press like so the light spreads to others walking in darkness. Subscribe to Chosen Archangel so you never miss the next divine revelation. And share your thoughts in the comments below. Your testimony may be the very spark that awakens another soul. Until we meet again, stay covered by the wings of heaven and walk boldly in your calling.